All species on this planet are constantly developing and evolving to better suit them in their environments, whether it be humans, bugs, birds, or sharks. This planet and its species are constantly changing. The green and knoll lizard is a prime example of natural selection in a short amount of time. One of its cousins, the brown and knoll lizard, has taken over what was considered to be the habitat of the green and knoll lizard. The green and knoll lizard is native to Florida, and the brown and knoll lizard was believed to have been brought over from Cuba. The green and knoll lizard, in just 15 years, has developed larger, stickier feet as it was pushed to hunt and live in the trees. This is a remarkable discovery that in that small amount of time that the lizards have adapted and are flourishing in their new environments. Puerto Rico is home to many types of anoles as well, and this reminds me of the finches of the Galapagos. They have evolved similar to the finches in that they occupy the grass, lower parts of the trunk, the mid portion of the trunk, and the tallest parts of the trees. The anoles of Puerto Rico all eat similar food, so they had to either compete for this food or coexist in different parts of the forest, and they have done so. The grass bush anole lives in tall grasses and has a very skinny body. The length of its legs and its tail helps it to easily balance on the tall grass. Another species of anole is known as the ground trunk anole, and these guys are a little bit larger and they live on the bottom of the tree trunks. In the midsection of the trees, there is the twig anole. Even up in the highest parts of the trees lives the giant Puerto Rican anole. The lizards of the islands of Puerto Rico are more genetically similar than the other islands of the Caribbean. So this shows that lizards were on each island and evolved separately. The green and gray tree frogs in the southeastern United States are also a sign of natural selection, as the two frogs have areas of territory that overlap with one another. Some studies have found that the gray tree frogs can change colors from black to white. However, they change colors much slower than that of the chameleon. Female gray frogs do not call out like the males do. Gray tree frogs are smaller than most of other North American tree frogs. The green tree frogs do not live on the tree trunks due to the fact that they're green and they're very visible for predators. They prefer to live near the lakes and marshes on the ground. The green tree frog can appear to be yellow depending on the temperature. The Cuban tree frog is an invasive species and has a very similar call to that of the green tree frog. In order to distinguish its call from the Cuban tree frog, it has made its call shorter, louder, and more frequent, while the gray tree frog lives on the tree trunks to better hide from predators. Bedbugs are another species that has undergone natural selection. There is proof that bedbugs used to flourish in caves and then ended up following humans into the urban areas that humans now live in. Some believe that bats are what brought bedbugs to humans, so the ones that still live in the caves are known as either bat or cave bugs. They were thought to be eradicated off the earth because of the pesticides that were used to kill them. However, they are back and resistant to pesticides. This means that the population had mutated or evolved to be resistant to pesticides, and they have been reproducing slowly over this 40-year period. It is unclear whether it was a mutation or evolution. Humans have and are still undergoing natural selection. Different populations in parts of the world have gotten unique traits. Most babies can digest dairy, but when humans become adults, this switch is turned off. Europeans have developed lactose tolerance, and due to this fact, most of the European populations are dairy tolerant. Most populations, however, outside of Europeans are still lactose intolerant in adult life. Down south in Africa, populations have developed a genetic mutation which makes them immune to Vivax malaria, which is indeed fascinating. This just shows that no matter what species, all living organisms adapt to their environment over time. In some cases, this can be fast like the anole lizards in Florida, but larger organisms usually take more time as populations tend to live longer. Thank you for listening to my video on natural selection. It was a blast making this thing. It was a fun class. Thank you, Professor. Have a good one.